Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Make sure to subscribe for more daily Yu-Gi-Oh content. So today we're looking at the cards that were released and shown within Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's the anime for episode 40. Keep in mind that not all of these will ever actually be released, but some of them will do so in the future. So most of these cards are actually Roman related, so this is the female lead, and we'll just cover how they support her deck. First card is Psychic Raid. It's a normal spell card with the requirement you can activate by shuffling 3 normal monsters, they must be Psychic type, from your graveyard into the deck. The effect, choose one face-up monster and must be level 8 or lower on your field and take damage equal to the attack of the chosen monster. Then you draw one card and reveal it. If that card is the same attribute as the monster chosen by this effect, you can draw another card. Right, so the condition of using this effect is a little bit difficult to use because it specifically has to be Psychic type monsters that are also normal monsters. That means you're having to fill your deck with all of these normal monsters just to meet the condition. Of course, they go back into the deck, which isn't a bad thing, and it's not like they go to the bottom of the deck. It lets you shuffle, which is one of the better conditions. Some of the other ones force these monsters to the bottom of the deck, but it's fine. The effect concerns me a little bit, because obviously, why are you going to choose a monster that's a level 8 for you to take damage for? Most likely, if you were to do that, you'd be taking 2,400, 2,500 points of damage. So it incentivizes you to pair this with the lowest level monster you have, which meets the condition. It's also dependent very much on luck, so you have to rely on, drawing into a monster that happens to have the same attribute. But the risk of, drawing into a spell or trap card is also there. If that's the case, then it's essentially just changed a 1-for-1. You've used this card just to draw one additional card, and you've also taken damage as a result, which is just not advised. Stardom Light is a normal spell card with a requirement you can activate by sending one face-up normal monster you control to the graveyard. The effect, special summon one monster, it must be a Psychic type, from your hand to your side of the field face up. If you send a monster that's a level 2 or lower to the graveyard, for this effect's requirement, you also gain 1,000 life points. So the condition of this card is not difficult. You're probably going to be running these normal monsters anyway. Not a bad effect. And to be able to special summon a Psychic monster is perfectly fine. You've got some boss monsters. It prevents you from having to tribute them. And many of them have effects that can just activate regardless of if they've been normal or special summoned. But you get the additional bonus effect if you've managed to scrap a weak level monster, because you get 1,000 life points. I don't think it's necessary for that effect. If you can get it off, that's fine, but just being able to summon one of your Psychic type boss monsters for free is decent. Romance Session is a normal spell card with a requirement you can activate if your life point is 1,000 or less than your opponent's. The effect is to choose one face-up monster that's a Psychic type you control, then special summon one monster that's a Psychic type from your hand with the same level as the chosen monster to your side of the field face-up, but for the rest of this turn, that special summoned monster cannot attack directly. This is very conditional of a card. It means that, you have to weigh out what your opponent's life points are versus your own, and trying to control that within a competitive match is difficult at the best of times. It reminds me a little bit of the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX episode where Jaden was facing this duelist who was a tennis coach and a tennis star. I think his name was Harrington, and he had a card which was called Deuce, which very much could only activate when both players' life points were at 1,000 apiece, and that's just a very bizarre mechanic that isn't really seen within many cards because it's a very difficult condition to meet. I think at the moment it's not too difficult with Rush Duels, but as it progresses, it's going to become it's already an outdated card, and it's just going to become completely invalidated in the future. The ability to special summon really a Psychic type monster with the same level as something you have on the field is still conditional as well, because if you've got a high level monster, that's fine. But if you've got monsters that are mixed levels and you can't have anything in your hand, or you don't have any of the cards in your hand, this becomes a very dead card. But assuming you've got this early on and you're able to actually use this, that's perfectly fine, because you can use the special summon monster to attack into your opponent's monsters. therefore removing the downside of this card's ability to prevent that monster from attacking directly. And the final card is Angry Rock. This is a normal trap card with the requirement: when your opponent normal summons a monster, it must be level 7 or higher, or you control 3 face-up monsters, they must be psychic type. The effect is to choose one face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot activate its effects until the end of this turn. Then all face-up monsters that are psychic type you currently control gain 200 attack until the end of this turn. Okay, for me this is a very strange card, and meeting its requirements it's not going to happen very easily. For starters, your opponent has to be normal summoning a high level monster. Anything that's lower than level 7 isn't going to trigger this card. The other thing is you do need to have 3 face-up psychic monsters. They can't have any defensive, face-down ones. They have to be revealed to trigger this effect. Whilst it's nice that it can shut down your opponent's effect, the 200 points attack gain is nothing to really bother about. And I say, if they've got a high-level monster and say you've got a level 4 out, that 200 boost is not going to be enough to prevent them from wanting to attack into your monster. Okay, they lose their effect for the rest of that turn. It might not be that big of an effect or something that they were focused on.